Patricia Altschul, that's right. We have the Grand Dame, the matriarch of Southern Charm here with us today. This From the Vault series has it has legs actually. So everyone seemed to love. Who did we have from the vault? We had Juicy Joe, Kathryn Dennis, Claudia Jordan, Jackie Goldschneider. Well, today we have a From the Vault, Patricia Altschul. Never, and I mean never before heard chat with Patricia Altschul. Never before heard. The only people that have heard this are me and Patricia and maybe Whitney, because he was in the room. He was coming and going in the house. I mean, Whitney's got to do what he's got to do. Other than me and Patricia, and probably Whitney, no one has heard this chat. This was recorded not even so long ago, but at a prior time before her beloved butler passed away, Michael. So, RIP Michael. He was such a huge part of the show. We talk about that. We talk about Kathyrn. We talk about Cameran Eubanks. Anyone want Cam back as much as I do? Obviously, we talk about the boys. We talk about JT, but Craig and Austen and Shep. And the show is just so different now, right? We have Southern hospitality. So this was recorded. This is a From the Vault, never before heard. My voice is cracking. Never before heard chat with Patricia Altschul. I have wanted Patricia on this podcast for decades. I haven't even done this for decades. I've only done this for years. I think I've wanted her on the podcast for about 6 years since my second episode. So we are continuing this. Seems to be a hit. This From the Vault. This is never before been heard. A chat with Patricia Altschul recorded at a prior time. So kick back, relax, and enjoy this chat with, I think, the best cast member of Southern Charm, Miss Patricia Altschul.
Her voice, I mean, it was magnificent.
Who do you think has grown the most since the first moment of season one? We're 9 seasons in. Like, just out of all these kids that you've been around and have known, who do you think has like really grown the most?
Well, I'm prejudiced, but I think Whitney has. I mean, he works behind the scenes. He's sold scripts, he's sold other TV shows. I mean, Whitney didn't have to work. He's had trust funds growing up, but he has educated himself. I mean, I paid for all the private schools. His father paid for his college, and then Whitney went to graduate school at Oxford, and he went to Paris, got a job, took care of all of that himself, lived in Paris. And that is no easy trick. He went to Alliance Francaise in Paris, and managed to get light, electricity, water, all in French, and doing that, and did research. And he has made quite a bit of money. The Rolls Royce is his, not mine. The house he bought from me, he owns it. The paintings are mine, but I've put everything that I own in another trust. But Whitney is the owner of the house, and people don't realize that. And so I have seen him get deeper into his work ethic. And I've seen him have one success after another, which you never see it on the show. He talks about it, but it's never used. I've said this house is really Whitney's, not mine, but it always says Patricia's house. And so I see it personally. And he comes across as very arrogant and entitled. And to a certain extent, he is. But he's also very kind, loving, supportive. And he has his own life. He has many, many friends and business colleagues. And I don't think he gets enough credit. It's like he's, just a spoiled brat. But I wish that were shown. I wish his true persona was depicted better on the show. but he unfortunately is private. He doesn't really care whether he films or not, you know. And when he says, well, I'm not going on the boat, I'm going to go up and work, he really does work. And people think it's an affectation, but it isn't. He genuinely does. And he's very kind to me and is a good son. And I mean, I see him becoming more and more mature. And I think that probably he'll be the first one to settle down before the others.
Well, it's also not easy to sell any show. You know what I mean? This business is a tough business, and the business of entertainment. So it's not hard, you know, to do sell multiple shows is really a hard thing that I don't think people realize.
I don't think they realize it either. And he's also sold scripts, and, you know, he's working on a project in London, which has been funded. He's gotten funded for, you know, all of these projects. And yeah, I mean, I would not have wanted him to go into the entertainment business because it is tough. I mean, how did you get into it?
I used to practice corporate law. I have such a varied background. I'm a lawyer. I practice corporate tax law. Then I stopped that. Then I went into like recruiting and HR, and I had my own staffing company. So like I had a company that was like staffing in New York that I ran for a lot of years. And then I sold that. And then when I sold that company, I kind of wasn't doing anything. And also, to be honest, didn't need to do anything. Like I was like, if I work, I work. If I don't, I don't. You know, you sell a company. I always tell people like that ask me about going to law school. I'm like, that's not how you get rich. It's having a company or owning it. And then, I mean, I sold it. And yes, I worked really hard. But then I really just fell into this. Like I was hanging out with some housewives, and I just was like, I got to do something with my life. And so that's kind of how this podcast started. It just took off. Like it just, really, it's a product of COVID in a sense, but it was more like I was friends with certain people on reality TV. And I was like, this is my everyday life. It's not so exciting to me. These are just my normal friends. But if I take myself out of this, I saw the appetite for like all these little nuances of like, yeah, I was having drinks with whoever last night. That's an interesting story to someone. So it started this podcast like you and I could go out for a drink, Patricia, but I might tell everyone in the world what happened tomorrow on the air. It was kind of very Wendy Williams-ish when it first started. And then it just kind of took off and morphed into something else and became like an actual real business. And as it was growing, I realized like I like working. I'm like a workaholic. If I'm addicted to anything, it's work. I just love to work, which I don't know how that happened, but here we are.
I understand that. I mean, you know, I'll be 83 next birthday.
Wow.
I have home shopping. I'm going to write this book. You know, I've got endorsements. I do Southern Charm. I think that people that think that just lazing around and not doing anything is optimum, when in fact it's really the other. And that's why I wish that Whitney's real attitude about work and life and so forth was shown more on the show, but he doesn't care, so why should I?
And well, they say, because look, you're 83. I mean, you know, you're so youthful. Like they do say that, like the minute you stop and you just sit, that's when
And
you grow
die.
old. Yeah. You stay youthful, I think, by really just being busy. I really believe that.
Well, let's say you own property in New York and California and the Hamptons. I think you better buy a place down here and make it your primary residence.
Seriously. I
Or
mean,
Florida.
yes, yes, and yes, yes to all of that. And I think one day I won't be in LA, especially, you know, like I'm more of a New Yorker, but yes, trust me, as I get older, I see shifts happening. I mean, to be honest with you, when I'm not working per se, and I don't have to be in LA or New York, I kind of spend the most time in the Hamptons. Like I come to LA for work, I come to New York for work. And then I'm just like, you go there and you're like, oh, this is so peaceful. You just kind of forget about the hecticness of other places. That's how Charleston is.
It's paradise. It really is. But I was thinking more tax base than than
That
anything else.
that too. Like Florida is great for taxes. Then you have to spend a certain number of days in Florida.